Welcome, beautiful people. Hope you're having a sweet day so far. So today it's come to my consciousness to speak about some ways that we can work to thin illusion, so that we can have these experiences of shifting to this quantum crystalline frequency that we've been talking about. It's here and now. It is it's within, it's and it's vibrating at a frequency that we're not accustomed to. We're very accustomed to this frequency, aren't we? What I want to say is that all that you behold in your awake state, generally speaking, is an illusion, right? It's so hard to wrap our minds around it. It really is, because we just jump out of bed and we go, don't we? It's like, what do I have to get done today? It's rare that we wake up and say, okay, how is it that I'm going to be today? That's a good question to ask yourself. How is it that I am going to be today? What is my I am? How am I going to practice shifting to this higher frequency that we've been nurturing as a possibility? So the first thing is just to go, oh yeah, I forgot it's all an illusion. And just look around now and just let your consciousness have a gander at that. You're like, but it's so real. It is a very real feeling. But it's an installment. It's an installment on the quantum, is what it is. And again, I'm reminding myself, even this morning, as the reality, the reality projection that comes to us, it's a simulation. And it, in some ways, even if you were to put your hand on something and go, well, this is solid, it's how it feels too, because it's not only the simulation of how things appear and how things feel, but it's how things feel inside of us. It's minutiae challenges that really lock us in to this simulation. And again, I am going to remind myself and suggest you do the same, that what you register with your five senses is illusory. And we know this because people have experienced things with their five senses and they weren't really there, according to somebody else. So it is all about perception. It's individuated perception, and it's mass agreement. And we've had to engage with this in this earth plane reality, illusion, this earth plane, so that we could come here and participate in its offering, which is the illusion of 3D. So the other thing that's really interesting about us is that as we have moved through life, and had experiences, it's fed the illusion, especially if it's made us hunker down for survival's sake. So a lot of what we do and see and feel and adhere to and believe in is for our energetic human impulse to survive. It's really big. We can't see on the other side, therefore, we are nervous about it. And, you know, as we watch, we've got an aging father now who is he's starting to probably has a few dip outs. And when he dips back in, he's still funny. But that whole feeling of what could possibly be on the other side that's better than this, that's in our brain. That's in our consciousness. That's in our survival impulse. And we're attached to it. We're attached in our egos to the things that make us feel okay and safe. So some of that has to do with how others perceive us, right? Because from the very beginning, you're not going to survive here unless your tribe includes you. And so it's really built into the whole network here, the whole network of consciousness. In addition to that, there's an energetic control faction that it's hard to put our finger quite on it, but it projects into this earth plane reality at this time. And it projects, not only projects the illusion, but it has a whole system that keeps this planet from possibly a natural evolution. I mean, that's the nature of the universe is expansion and evolution. And here we experience the opposite. We experience, yes, we grow, but we grow and age and we experience entropy, meaning the systems start to fall apart. And if we don't feed ourselves and sleep, we despair. Our spirit disappears from this body, and then the body eventually goes back to ash. So some of what we need to do, especially at this really interesting moment in time space that we're experiencing, we're really feeling the pull and the push of those forces, and they have projected themselves and projected onto the planet a very patriarchal system, which I've spoken to many times, and I don't want to elaborate too much on it, but it is said it's for our own good, and we adhere to it and we believe it and we follow laws and the teachings. Don't jump off your roof if you have 2 stories or even 1 story. We taught these things to protect ourselves, and all that is good, but there's something else that's an overlay, and it creates thought patterning that is not always good for the evolution of this species. And of course, if we don't evolve, we're affecting the evolution of other species. And so we're entrained, if you will, vibrationally entrained to this projected illusion, and we fit in. We just go along and we do it. And that is to many degrees our survival. But there is an interesting thing that has been spoken about by various cultures who have ancient history. And they say this is our 4th world. And it is thought that we're moving into this 5th world. And this is what we're trying to nurture. in a very gracious way this shift out of this projected illusion into something that is more equitable for more beings. Now, the thing that we need to understand is that our ego reactions feed the control state that is here. That's why it's here. It feeds off of our negative reactions. Now, something happens and makes you sad and you cry. That's a physiological, emotional consciousness expression. It's being attached to that sadness. Something, an injustice happened and you feel that blush of anger, that's a normal reaction. And the same with being faced with danger and shaking. These are all physiological consciousness experiences, reactions to experiences in the world are okay. We don't have to be in sublime state all the time here. It's impossible. But we have to know that if we stay hunkered down into those things, like we live in chronic fear or chronic rage or anger or even depression, it's a feed. It feeds this web, this energetic control state. So it's something then that makes us, especially we have to kind of notice that in ourselves. And so fear, anger, and hate. Ooh, yeah, that's just such a harsh word, hate. But we're seeing a lot of that being expressed all over the world. Different religious groups hate different other ones, different political parties hate the other ones, different races hate other races. Oh my gosh. But again, conquer and divide is to conquer, you must divide. And if you can really instill that very solidified separation, that can get generated. And it doesn't help us at all. And we're seeing that now. And we must have compassion for those who engage in that. We can't hate the haters. We have to have compassion, like something happened that created that for them. And so compassion is one way through that. So the next stage that we go to is your thoughts. Your thoughts instigate ego reactions and attachments. Well, why does that person do that to me? Well, that person should never do that. Well, why don't they do this? Well, how come the government? Well, this is, wrong. Well, this is, it's that series of thoughts that you're probably on some level not even choosing. And so we have to keep our, attention just to notice those thoughts. And every once in a while, I see something slip through and I go, but is that my thought? And sometimes I get no. I go, interesting. Someone else's thought just slipped through. So that's the collective unconscious as well. So we have some things happening, in planes that we don't understand. And and then we have, our openness to hearing and receiving information. Sometimes those things slip through and we have to notice it and just nod our heads and say, yeah, that was not mine. I'm right here right now. So what I'm doing is I'm pointing out all these things that are very much about what we're ensconced in when you leave this meditation, when you leave this experience that we have here together. When you leave here, you're going to go out and you're going to have reality illusion interaction. And sometimes we can just stay in a very focused and relaxed state, but there are constant challenges that seem to arise for those most arduously on the path, right? Arduously. Okay. And like I said, however, your thoughts are not always your own. And it's really quite important that as you feel something go through, like even this morning, I had a thought go through it when I was rising. And I'm like, well, it wasn't a bad thought, but I recognized the tone of it. It wasn't me. And so I traveled to the frequency of it, and I just did a nod of detachment. Like that's you, and all's well. It was just like that because I didn't want anything attached to my energy field so that my energy, so I can choose where my energy goes throughout the day, either this or to others. Now, what we really know, and I've had this experience with you, with other groups, our thoughts, your thoughts influence reality on the quantum. And so I like whoever said, you can't afford a negative thought. And again, we're tuning into this. And this is particularly a very important time to pay attention to your thoughts and actually choose thoughts that direct positive outcome on the quantum. So, for instance, right now, I know some of you are very concerned about the effects of climate change in different parts of the body of this earth. And so, you know, there's flooding and there's drought and there's flooding and there's drought, and there's hurricanes and there's tornadoes. And, very sadly, this last Helene hurricane just absolutely tore apart and ripped through kind of the spiritual center of the South, Asheville. And I really don't know what that was about. Um, and I know a lot of you tune into different parts of the world, and you have relatives or experiences all over the world, and just understanding that it's not just the effects of climate change that's being very aggravated right now throughout the world, but it's also these thoughts and projections of hate and the use of war upon the other that is just absolutely, for me, it's absolutely heartbreaking. So I do want us to spend a little time today in our connection here, in our gathering place on the quantum, to really choose some thoughts for what's going on out in the world. So, as most of you know, and if you haven't engaged with the quantum crystalline series, and I'm going to say it's really good if you can start with the Lion's Gate, which happened in early August, 8/8, and go through and pick that series, because we're really given the keys. If you haven't done it, you haven't been here for all of them, that's okay. Go listen to them. And in a way, it's good to start with Lionsgate, and then I think there's a few more that you can skip to. You can see them in the titles. But we're being called to engage in higher intellect. And so this is like, instead of motor mind or spinning mind, same thought over and over and over again, or just unconscious mind or reactive mind from time to time engage in higher intellect. And the components of this. The components. So it's engaging when you can with spiritual insight. Okay, what am I to do here? Let me know. And then when things happen, instead of going into that reactive self, go higher intellect and go, now what really happened here? What was I responsible for? How did I react? How did I create this situation? Because that's the only thing I have the ability to up level. Unless, of course, I up level so well, it up levels somebody else. That happens. And then attunement to truth and really being able to feel when you can sense truth and being attracted to it and selecting reading material that reminds you of the truth that's within you. And then, of course, positive projections. It's really easy to go down that road. Oh no, now what? What am I going to do about that? There's a tonality to it rather than stopping and saying, in this moment, I create the absolute perfect outcome for this situation. And let me ask, gain some spiritual insight through my intuitive inquiry. Let me open that channel. And there is this really beautiful channel up through there. And you can it's your soul channel. It's your central channel. Open that up, look up, empty, listen. And then project, okay, the perfect situation, the perfect person is going to find their way into this scenario to help me. Or the perfect outcome for all beings in this moment is on its way to happening. Sometimes we have to add our positive projections into the very big picture, knowing it might take a million more of those, either from us or others, but they do accrue. They do. And then observing as now. Now, these are big things I'm asking of you and of myself. Big things. Observing as now. I just had that thought again. Right. I just had that thought again. Okay. So no, I'm going to change to positive projection. So you have the delineation of what the tools are. And then you just got to remember. Sometimes you have to put little sticky notes up. Observe as now. And then you can also put LLL. Love, love, love. And that's when you really can't get through the soup. You just go, well, I'm not getting this, so I'm just going to go love, love, love. Love, love, love. You can eye roll on yourself if you have to. Love, love, love. So what is all just in this moment, just to take a situation that is up for us. It can be a situation that's personal or someone in your family, or friend, or the world. And I want us to just take a moment, close our eyes. And you might even feel a heaviness in your heart or your solar plexus, or even in your cranium. And then I want you to choose to think a thought something like this. I choose to co-create my perfect outcome for this life challenge. I choose to co-create a harmonious alignment in my spirit and my soul, my being, with the outcome that is best for the good of all. So find some words like that. And as you have these projections, we're going to use our field to really amplify them because we have an awesome field. And even if you're listening to this at a later time, the field is upon us and it's upon you. And then you kind of let love, love, love kind of float down into the solar plexus because you want to create things out of love, right? You want to create, not out of not out of control, but out of love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. And one of those loves is for you, the first one. So, loving myself, I now align with the love of the oneness and create an outcome that is an expression of love for those who are in the field of this creation. And there's this actual feeling of emanating love. It's kind of like moving out from the center in a ripple. Love, love. Hey, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So, okay, take a moment, come back to again to ST or TS time space. So, as long as we're living in the fourth world, as long as Earth is Earth, and some people say the next Earth is called Tara, Terra, Tara. It's Terra. But now there's this other experience that we're having. We're experiencing it. Sometimes we see it. We're noting how we're manifesting things in certain parts of the world, be it in California and the rain, which was a very serious situation here. And that illumination is coexisting with this right here from within and behind the specter of illusion. We're calling it quantum crystalline. And quantum kind of speaks to more of a fifth dimensional, and crystalline is more sixth dimensional. So we're going from 3-4 to 5-6. So in our moments where we get to align with that and go, this just feels so natural and so uplifting and so connective. So this is what we've been experiencing. If you didn't feel it, you wouldn't continue to participate and enhance this field. The important thing to understand is that as this is coming through, this quantum crystalline, even if it's just weekly in our meditations for you, because you got so much going on, this has the power to illuminate the specter of illusion. And behind that, behind that specter, in my experience, is generally a powerful revelation of truth. It's an aha. So when you really take that moment and notice that thought and go, oh my gosh, and you take a deep breath, and we're going to do a little bit of this together, and you really stop and you move through that confrontation, or you move through that challenge, or you move through that kind of continuum, that's spinning or that entanglement, you move through it. There's always something that comes through personal for you. So you got to watch for it. But you have to know when something's really, you're like, okay, well, this is where I get to practice what I preach. Trust me. Trust me. It happens. So every challenge presented by the controlled illusion will reveal in time your depth of purpose here once you observed and detached from its deception. So like you're all here at this moment in time space, being called here to hold this frequency. We're a little bastion of emanation, if you will, or of, it's almost yeah, we hold the space for QC to come through and to be recognized. And I know that there are others who are doing this. But you've come through at this time with a soul purpose that's being expressed probably in a variety of different ways. Even if it's just one-on-one with another being, even if it's how you care for the earth. But I know in every single one of you, you're feeling that I am here for a reason. And that's why I'm showing up. Every time you part the veil, shall we say, part the veil and step through and have the courage to stop your engagement with the minutia and just be in the moment. You're up-leveling yourself and the planet. So now we want to know how to engage in higher intellect. Okay, we want to know I want to give you an easy hack. You know how I love spiritual hacks. because got to respect time space. It's moving along. So let's say you're having a moment and, like you get a piece of not so great news and you just, you sink or you react or you cry, whatever it is. And then that happens. And then you notice it's there again. And then you notice it's there again. And you go, wait a minute. This is exactly the thing that I'm supposed to attend to and move through it to bring through what we're all working to do. And so, what you do is you take a moment and you pause. You just, in that pause, to the best of your ability, you still the mind. And then you spin it clockwise and up. And there's a moment where you have a sense of that QC. And then you breathe. And then a lot of times your eyes will change. Your eyes will change. They'll shift out of the heavy density to the QC. And then you be. I like nodding my head and saying yes to that. Yes. So we're going to have a little moment here. Okay, a moment. And so eyes open or closed, you decide. Tune in, perhaps to that aggravation that's on the back burner, something someone said to you or whatever, or just this moment and pause. And in that pause, you can notice maybe a held vibration in your gut, your heart. And then just spin upwards, clockwise. You keep that upward spiral moving until whatever it is that you're thinking about softens. And then you breathe. And listen to the sound of your breath. And sometimes if you keep going up, you get to a nugget of truth. It can be the nugget of the truth of you, or a nugget that you, as a soul, are now ready to remember. And then the yes, yes, yes can come. Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, yes. Lovely. And you might hear a spontaneous love, 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 love even float down for you. And you might even feel the expression of solidity soften around you. And perhaps an I am filters through. And let's all join together in our expression here in love, 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 love. And feel our interconnectivity with each other, and bridge through to that on the quantum. And then at some point, with soft eyes, your eyes open. And you just affirm you're going to walk through the IW with ease and grace to the best of your ability today. And yes, another particle of minutia may arise, another challenge may present itself. And you just nod your head and say, I pause, I spiral, I breathe, I am. And I want to say, in the next month, that next 4 weeks ahead of us, let us intend unity. Let us intend peace and acceptance and civility. And let's put that on the quantum. So thank you so much for joining us today, you blessed beings. And practice makes us perfect. Practice makes us perfect. And I always say, yeah, we're moving towards that state. And perfection is just love, right? That's what it is. Love, love, love. Namaste. Thank you for your beautiful presence today. I could feel it.